Ever since Donald Trump's election in 2016, the media has been sounding alarms about an alleged crisis of disinformation.
The rise of disinformation, especially in politics, has become one of the biggest threats to free and fair elections.
Disinformation, misinformation, in effect, information warfare.
It certainly is one of the Russians' goals to interfere with American politics.
This panic only grew during the COVID-19 pandemic, when there was an existential fear that the public might get the wrong idea about the virus's origin or the efficacy of certain public health measures.
It can be dangerous to the health of the nation when disinformation dissuades people from making use of what could be life-saving interventions.
And now, a vast industry has popped up to combat undesirable ideas. There's a network of hundreds of startups and nonprofits today that claim to specialize in fact-checking and detecting disinformation.
Well, the new venture aims to help people navigate through fake news on social media.
NewsGuard Technologies is the new $6 million venture that will battle so-called fake news.
These include powerful ratings agencies like NewsGuard and the Global Disinformation Index, or GDI. But what these companies are really doing is attempting to censor political views they find unpalatable. The GDI, a British organization founded in 2018, which also gets funding from the US government, judges information not just based on its factual validity, but on whether it is hateful, anti-woman, anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant. And while the effort to combat hate may be well-intentioned, there's still a problem. We don't know how these indexes decide what speech counts as hateful. In a 2022 report, GDI compiled a list of the 10 most and 10 least dangerous media organizations in the US. On the most dangerous list are outlets like the New York Post and Real Clear Politics. The least dangerous included NPR and the New York Times. There's also this exclusionary list, a blacklist of thousands of sites accused of peddling disinformation, which is sent to big ad firms, pressuring them to cease doing business with these outlets. The British publication Unheard was added to GDI's exclusionary list, not because they published any factual errors, but simply because gender-critical feminist Kathleen Stock is a regular contributor.
Our team re-reviewed the domain. The rating will not change as it continues to have anti-LGBTQI+ narratives.
These rating agencies play a significant role in determining ad revenue for media outlets, impacting their financial viability and ultimately influencing editorial content. And that's why their glaring bias and arbitrary designations of hate are so important. The UK government recently announced it will stop funding the Global Disinformation Index. But the GDI still receives cash from various sources, including the European Union and the US State Department. Should the United States, with our constitutional right to freedom of speech, be spending public money on an organization that punishes American publishers for their editorial content? The answer is obviously not. In reality, the vast majority of proposed disinformation measures, based on criteria that are ideological and not neutral, are highly damaging and will only continue to degrade the world's trust in institutions. You can read more of these issues on censorship, including our reporting from the Twitter files, at thefp.com.